Jake, previously I asked you about the trolley problem. This particular question is about something called the experience machine. And the experience machine is where theoretically you could plug yourself in the way that you would like the Matrix, and you can experience any particular feeling that you would like. The question is, if such a thing were possible, would you live your life in the experience machine or would you live your life in the real world? And if so, why? And what would you recommend other people do?
Tom, the experience machine. Wow. I just can't wait for that to come out. Yeah, the experience machine would be fantastic. I would love it, and I think that most people would. It would probably it'd be a bit of a mixed bag because for some people, people who are disabled, old, people who are poor and don't really have very many possibilities to have nice things, to accumulate nice things, or to have great experiences. I think the experience machine would be phenomenal for these people in particular. It would become very addictive, I'm sure. It'd be like a drug. In Red Dwarf, I don't know if you ever used to watch Red Dwarf, but Red Dwarf, they had something called Better Than Life, and it was a similar kind of thing. It was you plug in, and you can have fantastic experiences, whatever you want. A little bit like a Star Trek Next Generation, where they have the holodeck. So I think that you would spend as much time as you could in it. I think instead of coming home from work and having some dinner and having a quick chat with the family and then plugging in to watch the next exciting episode of whichever TV show you're watching at that time, I think you'd be desperate to plug into the experience machine. And I think that you would probably be thinking about it all day and what experiences can you have. I'm sure that there'd be an online group of people, and you could join all sorts of online groups. So you might have lots of new friendships, but you may never really meet the real life versions of these people. I suppose they might be, you'd know them as whoever they chose to be, because in the experience machine, they could be however you could be however you wanted to be and look like, 7 foot Adonis if you wanted. And I think, you could probably choose to have an individual personal experience or another experience. So if you were disabled, for example, and you couldn't walk, you'd be able to walk, and that would be an amazing thing. Possibly, if you were blind, you'd be able to see. And how incredible would that be? So I think it would be tremendously addictive, and in many ways, people's quality of life would improve significantly while plugged in to the experience machine. The downside is that pubs, bars, holiday destinations. I mean, if you could have a better holiday whenever you wanted, have the perfect weather, the perfect environment, the sea is just exactly the right temperature, and there are definitely dolphins that you can not only swim with, but they'll take you for a ride around the bay. Stuff like this in the experience machine would be far superior to anything you could get in real life, and so therefore I think and it would potentially be cheaper. So places like Greece that survive on tourism, and Spain and places like this, I mean, how would they cope with this kind of thing? It would destroy their economies. Um, and in Spain, people going there for trying to retire out to Spain and have a nice weather. Well, you can have nice weather whenever you want it in the experience machine. So say why not just save yourself a load of money and no flights and all the rest of it. So airline companies, they'd be another one that would suffer. There'd be an awful lot of casualties, and there would probably be cases of people literally wasting away because they just spend too much time in this machine and not enough time in real life. And then finally, you'd have yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, what would that mean for the family? You know, would you be able to see your family members whenever you wanted? But I mean, would you? I don't know. What would family life be like? You come home, have dinner, and then what? You're sitting there, all plugged into your individual experiences, doing God only knows what. So I think it would be tremendously destructive to our current way of life, But in other ways, it would be amazingly, it would just be fantastic. Anyone, I mean, if you used it for education, you could go to any period of time potentially. You want to study the French Revolution? Well, there you go. Well, the guillotine thing's a bit too extreme for you. You want to tone that down? Tone it down. No more guillotines. A sanitized version of history. You could travel anywhere you want. You want to see what life is like on Mars? Bam, there you are, Mars. There it is, and it's safe. So I think the experience machine would be phenomenal, but very addictive and destructive in its own way. But personally, I can't wait.